Hey, what's up, guys? I did a video back in February about Enon Harsh, and I want to go back over that today to see if we've learned anything new about Enon Harsh. Let's get into it, guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We're going to be getting in today.
Who is Enon Harsh? He was a neighbor of the victims at 1122 King Road. He brought them a open bottle of wine. Now, there's a lot of rumors that he's a potential suspect, even though I believe he's been ruled out. But just his background is shady as all hell. Let's get into this video, guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Lauren Matthias. Please subscribe and hit the like button so you can get these unexpected live streams. I have a very important guest with me right now, somebody that I hope can bring us more insight. I am with, will you pronounce your name? Inan? Enon.
Enon Harsh.
Enon Harsh. Also known as Chef Dizzy, as you see there. Enon is a very, very important part of this Moscow homicide investigation because he was a neighbor of the 4 victims who lived on King Street.
We've had so many different adaptations of the address come out. It's 11122 King Road. It's 1122 Queen Road. 1122 King Street. 1122 Queen Street. So which one is it? Is it King Road or is it Queen Road? That's what I would like to know, because the driveway does sit on Queen Road, but the name of the LLC is 1122 King Road LLC. So which one is it, guys? Let me know down in the comments. Is it Queen Road or is it King Road? Because it's still confusing as all hell. Because we've heard different adaptations of the address over the course of the last 2 years.
And I just want you to share with us what you know. Many also have heard of the neighbor that possibly heard a scream. This is that person that I have with me now. So let everyone know this is going on. We'll try to take some questions as well, but right now I'm going to start with my questions because I have a lot of them. I want to thank you for being here. And first off, I think we should just start by taking us back to that night. The things I've heard in the news from you, Enon, are that it was an unexpectedly quiet night. You wrote about the crime on social media, and share what you remember from that night. Is that a good place for us to start right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I work about like 10, usually like 9 to 11 hour shifts. So I went to work. I got off around, I think it was around 12 that night. It was kind of like a late close, and I like bullshitted with like a coworker for a little while after work, and then I went home. It was around, I don't know, like 1:30, 2-ish a.m. Was maybe when I got home, maybe and I always I'm always like kind of hoping that I have like a parking spot right in front of my door when I get there, because like lots of times on campus, there's like parties and like they're pretty full. And so like this time I noticed that like I don't know, it wasn't really any cars as usual. I was like, cool, I'm gonna get a nice spot right in front. And there was like I did, and I saw like this sort of like kind of like decked out like luxury, like I thought it was black SUV, maybe like a Beamer or something, and it had like rims, tinted windows, and I was like, oh, that's like a pretty cool car. And then like coming out, like I noticed some like plates from like Arizona, I want to say, or Montana. There's kind of like it's like I'm always like kind of curious what kind of like different plates are like around and stuff. It's usually you just see like Idaho, especially in like my parking lot. And so like I came in and it was like surprisingly like pretty empty that night. Like none of the houses and like that on those like two streets were having parties, which was like kind of unusual. And then I went home, was like making some tea, just like doing some contact staff drills and like stretching. I think I played a game of League.
Okay, so he saw a black SUV, and you notice how he's stuttering and stammering there, that had really nice rims, and he thought it might have been a BMW SUV.
Okay, from the outset, we've heard that there was a black SUV there that night, parked near 1122 King Road. But what's kind of weird is with the mainstream media narrative going on and the narrative of the Gonzalez family, we heard about the SUV early on in the case, but didn't hear anything else about it. That's just really odd to me. Enon saw the SUV there that night, but after that, the SUV was never mentioned again. I smell cover up right there. That is a cover up, trying to hide the fact that there was an SUV sitting there near the King Road home around, like he said, 1:30 ish, 2 o'clock in the morning ish. But yes, he does stammer and stutter a lot. I've noticed that in this interview. But hey, let me know down in the comments. How come we haven't heard anything else about this black SUV?
Now, I've heard a rumor about a black SUV being spotted around the time of the murders, and a girl running out and jumping in the back of the SUV. But that's kind of specific. Either Arizona or Montana license plates. That's really kind of odd, guys, isn't it?
And then I went to bed, and then as I was falling asleep, it usually takes me like 30 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. Like, I don't know, I guess, I just missed like initially like, one of my neighbors returning hello after me. So I heard like, a car shut, a door shut, and then like, apartment door shut, and like also, like a scream, but like, that's like normal. Like I always hear like screaming almost every Saturday night. So like, I didn't really like think of it. And so, but like, yeah, just looking back, I was like, I wonder if like, that wasn't just like some drunk dude like screaming, like it's actually like the murder. And yeah, and it was like, it was kind of a trip having like the cops like come on and like no one knew what happened. They're just like, asking where we were. And we're like, this is weird. Like they're knocking on every single door in our apartment. Like that's never happened before. And then like I went inside and looked on the news and it was like 4 people stabbed to death. I was like, it's like right across the street. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. When did you hear about it? Was it those knocks on the door? You woke up the next day? Did these knocks on your apartment door
Well, I was
wake up? How did
already
you learn about it?
I was already awake. I was just like woke up a little bit. I was still like drinking coffee, and like the cops knocked on my door, and like after they asked me some questions, like right after they left and started like they were starting to talk to the next door over. I looked on my phone and Googled it and found it pretty much instantly. And that's when I knew. And then I think it was like I don't know a couple days later when we like the names were released and we like found out who it was or whatever.
Now, I would like to know exactly why he went on social media talking about the murders. Now, we've heard a lot about this Papa Rogers. Yeah, and uh, some say it's Brian, some say it's LE, some say it's Enon. But Enon's handle on Reddit is I data when you sleep. Yeah, that's a weird name for Reddit. I data when you sleep. So if there's a gag order in this case and the police thought he was connected to it, why go blab on social media about the murders at all? Because the police are saying he was connected to this crime, and so did Miss Matthias said that he was connected to this crime. So why go blab it on social media? I'm wondering if he isn't Papa Rogers. But there's a lot of people say that he's not Papa Rogers, that Brian's Papa Rogers, and there's people say that Ellie's Papa Rogers. We don't know who the real Papa Rogers is. All we know is his name on Reddit is I data when you sleep. So how do we know that he's not Papa Rogers? He could very well be.
Okay, that was the question I was going to ask. Did you initially know that you knew them at all, or did you just
No, actually, when I first saw it, I saw the picture I saw. I thought it was actually the house, like the next house over. I was like, oh. But then when I found out it was like, the house of the people that I like, I don't want to say I knew them, but I was like met them. Then I was like, damn. And I don't know, it was kind of sad because actually, like they were super cool. Like I really like my neighbors.
Yeah, you'd met them. Is that correct? You'd met Kaylee and who else had you met?
I think it was Santa and her boyfriend.
Okay. Okay.
And I think there was like some other people there, but I'm really bad with names. So like I think those are, like I had to like look at online like the faces to try to like remember them because it was just like it was super brief. But yeah, they were super nice. They're super friendly. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like
Okay, so he met Kaylee. No, he met Ethan and Xana.
So he admits to meeting Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. And he said they were super nice, they were super cool, but he didn't remember the names of the other people in the house, which was Maddie, Dylan, and Bethany. Now, why is it that he can remember Kaylee's, Xana, and Ethan, but not Maddie, Dylan, and Bethany? That just strikes me as odd. You can only remember three names of 3 people in the house, but you can't remember the other 3. Like he says, he's bad with names, and I'm not buying that for 1 minute.
Did he go over there to the house to meet them? Did he infiltrate one of the parties? We don't know this.
The best neighbors you could want.
I have a question here that you mentioned hearing a lot of sounds typically from the neighbors. Is this because it's highly populated, poorly insulated? Tell us a little bit about the neighborhood, because a lot of us, all we see is only on the news. We're trying to grasp what this neighborhood is like.
I guess you would say.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates.
I've used several video editors, none of them quite as easy, like Create Studio.
The #1 rated video creator in
It's kind of like an amphitheater here. It's like they live kind of like down like the hill, and then it's like a big open space. Everything's made of wood for the most part, and like they would have little like gatherings outside on their like in the back door, and so and then they're like drinking a little bit in Squeak Row, so it's like you can usually hear like parties and like just like social drinking chatter, like around the block or whatever, like usually on weekends.
Now, we've already heard from LE during those noise complaint calls that it's basically a fishbowl. So that house was situated in almost like a fishbowl. Any noise whatsoever is amplified.
Weekends. It's kind of like, similar vibe of like what you'd think of like a small downtown city, like, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Frat houses, two fraternity homes probably have a decent amount of parties going on if it's a college town. Is that?
And lots of the block parties are kind of popular too. Like they'll kind of like, like get in big crowds and then kind of like wander around, you know what I mean? Just like go throughout campus and stuff. Not so much lately, but like you go from like sometimes they only stay at a house for like an hour or two, and then they like kind of like wander around and stuff.
That
I guess
makes
in the winter a little bit less, but yeah.
Okay. And are you? Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, replying to the question. They were at like I want to say 1-ish p.m., 1:30.
Okay. So shortly after the police were called then, in other words.
Yeah, they came almost instantly.
Okay.
It was a big deal.
We have another question here. Are you a student? How long have you lived there?
I'm not a student. I've been cooking for like 6 years now, 5 years.
Okay.
I've lived here off and on for 20. What was the last question? I missed it.
Let's see. It was, are you familiar with the activities at the house? I assume they mean the crime scene. Like, you were at their house when you met them, right? I'm referring to a Reddit.
Yeah, I read them. They were actually outside. I never went inside.
Okay.
But no, I didn't like. I was in my apartment all night. So.
Okay, the night of the murders.
Okay, and that's a weird comment. Go back a little bit.
I want to say 1-ish p.m., 1:30.
Okay. So shortly after the police were called then, in other words.
Yeah, they came almost instantly.
Okay.
It was a big deal.
We have another question here. How long have you lived there?
I'm not a student. I've been cooking for like 6 years now, 5 years.
Okay.
I've lived here off and on for 20. What was the last question? I missed it.
Let's see. It was, are you familiar with activities at the house, I assume they mean the crime scene. Like, you were at their house when you met them, right? I'm referring
No,
to a Reddit.
I met them.
thing
They were
before.
actually outside. I never went inside.
Okay.
But
Now, see, we've heard that a group of fraternity guys lived there, that he went inside the house because it was a bunch of guys. But he's never been in the house when it was a group of sorority girls. So I don't understand why he's saying he's never been in the house when he was in the house when it was fraternity guys. This Enon Harsh is really, really odd. I'm sorry for the video buffering and lagging. It was, like I said, it's an older video from February of this year, and it was when I didn't have very good internet like I have now.
no, I didn't like. I was in my apartment all night. So
Okay, the night
Uh,
of the
I never been to the house or inside the house. I met them while they were outside. And then the weirdest comment, I was inside my house all night.
murders or the crime, you were in your
yeah,
apartment all
I
night.
never really hung out with them. So like, to me they were just like some normal sorority girls that drink every once in a while on the weekends. So
Okay. And yeah, and when I was asking you about meeting them, I want everybody else to know, and I know, but you also decided to share an AMA on Reddit recently, which is when I reached out to you, and you did kind of mention meeting them, or at least Kaylee, and maybe you think you might have met Xana and her boyfriend. That would be Ethan. Bringing them a bottle of wine, perhaps. Was that what happened? Or share us. Can you take us to meeting?
yeah, because I think the person I think I remember most is Kaylee, and like when I introduced myself, I think she was like the first one I shook hands with. And yeah, I just had like this. It was a pretty nice bottle of wine. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was pretty expensive. And I was cooking with it, and I wasn't gonna finish it, and I was taking chapters. I don't remember, I was outside, and then I was just like like chit chatting, drinking a little bit, playing some cool music, and so I went down, and they were like drinking some beer, and I was just like asked her if she wanted just a bottle of wine. I wasn't gonna finish it, and they were like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." And then I was like, "Yeah," and then I was just introduced like the neighbor, like I lived upstairs, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, they were super super nice and smiley, and that's pretty much all I remember. I
You
never met
referred
him after that. I was like, I always thought about crashing their party sometimes, but I never actually like did it. I usually got my own thing going on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you referred to them in the Reddit AMA as beautiful, joyful. I can't remember the other two adjectives, but
yeah,
He thought about crashing their parties once in a while, but he decided not to because he had too much going on. I don't think the people like Hunter Johnson would even allow him in the house when there was a party going on. I really don't.
yeah.
yeah, they seem very cool. My
Yeah.
and some of my coworkers actually went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene. So I'm thinking back and I can't remember. Like I don't want to say it was or not, but that was the only.
The tag was deserty. That don't make no sense, guys. Now, see, the only tag that I know of that's deserty is Arizona. And why would he mention that he saw a white Elantra a lot parked on a hill? But then he said, "Oh, yeah, I'm not going to say because I don't really know." The fuck, this dude is sus beyond all belief.
Only other car I noticed that didn't seem like someone that lives there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that observant, but I'm pretty. I'd say more observant than like most people, I guess.
Yeah. Liz is asking, did you know that your coworkers knew them before or after?
That don't make no sense. I'm not that observant, but I'm more observant than other people. What? How can you be not that observant, but be more observant than other people?
Yes, that is an odd statement. How can you be observant, more observant than other people, but not really observant at the same time? That's kind of an oxymoron statement.
That's an oxymoron.
After the
No,
murder?
no. One of the like the next day I went to work. I had one of the dudes talk down and talk to me, and just like asked me how I was doing and talk, and was telling me how like knew some of the people or something, and like it's like, well, that's crazy. But I mean, that's like Coeur d'Alene's pretty local. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
it's not that far off.
Right. And that's where you work then, is Coeur d'Alene. Is that?
No,
did
I
you
work
say?
in Moscow. No, I work in
Oh,
Poland.
you
Sorry.
went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene and you work in Moscow. That makes
No,
more
I
sense.
didn't go to high school with them. One of my coworkers did.
Okay.
I went to school in Pullman.
Okay. All right. Sleuth Mom, it's good to see you. I want to let people know that for those missing, Sleuth Mom does a wonderful job covering important cases. Thanks for being here with us, Sleuth Mom. There's some audio. I wanted to ask you this because you've come forward and said you may or may not have heard a scream. You're thinking about it now, wondering if it was a party sound you heard, or if it was an actual, scream you heard. There has been so much speculation going on, online and social media. I know you know that. You've been a part of that. We'll talk about that later. But there's been some audio making rounds of a scream. And I was just wondering if you could confirm that that was nothing you provided to any media anywhere, because a lot of people are trying
No,
to make connections there.
I didn't hear about it till basically people were telling me and things like this, and I was like, oh, LOL. Yeah, no, complete hoax. Yeah,
Okay.
I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
How many views has it got?
It's on multiple channels, so I couldn't even tell you how many views the
Oh
screen
wow.
has received because there's so many different outlets, not official outlets, but YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't report anything. I don't see how.
Why is he wondering how many views the video of the scream got? That's just kind of weird. He says he's never seen the video, but he wants to know how many views it got. Come on, dude.
I would record something after I hear something unless I was already recording, which I wasn't. So
Yeah. You've mentioned that you're an artist and that you're a chef. Do you ever stay up late doing your craft, working on things? Do you ever hear what's going on around the neighborhood ever? If you're up
yeah,
late?
I mean, I don't know. No, I guess not. I mean, I usually listen to something, so I mean, I'm usually like zoned in on whatever I'm doing. But I guess it's kind of like on like the parties night, like the like I don't know, the parties are kind of just like noise to me. So like I hear that and like every once in a while, like I'll hear, like somebody return home really late in the night. But I mean, it's like semi-normal, like 3, 4 a.m. Like that's not that late. People go over to people's houses and they hang out for a long time, and then they come home on the weekends. Like that's just like college life, I feel like. And like sometimes I'll just like listen to some music in my bedroom to like kind of like tune out like anybody who's like super, super late or loud. Um, and then sometimes like you'll hear just like people walking down, like I don't know, sometimes yelling, but not like it doesn't happen like I don't know, it's not super, super loud, but it's like, it's campus, it's noisy, but I mean it's like you can hear what's going on, I guess, sort of like was close vicinity, but um yeah, it's usually just noise. Like there's nothing like you want to listen to. I guess it's kind of weird. I guess like, you can kind of like our walls are really thin. So like certain places you can hear like certain areas outside or inside, whatever. But I don't know. The place I think you can hear in that neighbor's house, I guess, is like in the house is like the yard. I feel like the yard is the place where you can hear the most things. Like, so if you're gonna hear something that happened at that house, it'd probably be the yard. Like I feel like the sounds inside, I'm guessing, wouldn't carry as much. Just because like again, I think that yard is sort of like almost an amphitheater set up a little bit. It's like it's got the hill and it's like down a little bit. And then
Well, the cops have said in the past that it's like a fishbowl up there. The house and the surrounding houses are like a fishbowl. But this dude just kind of like stammers and other, there's other stuff going on with this dude.
above it is like the parking lot and another hill. So it's like I don't know, it's kind of like a meteor like hole in a sense. And so like I think probably like like in the middle, the sound probably resonates around.
That makes sense. And you can call me Patches is also saying college towns are just noise sometimes. It's hard to tell what's what. A request for clarification. Back to the SUV one more time that you saw. Can you
I don't
clarify?
think
There's
so.
some confusion in chat. Okay, so you're saying you don't
I don't
think
know
the
though.
SUV
I
saw
don't.
was
She
really
drove a
smart?
Ford. I don't know. Ford's not that luxury to me. I don't think I would have noticed that. I mean, it's a nice car, but I don't think it wouldn't stand out to me. I don't know. It just stood out to me because like I drive kind of a sketchy car, and it's kind of decked out, and it's like I don't know. I noticed like I've always been into like cars with like rims and tinted windows and stuff like that, and this was like one of those cars I'd be like, man, probably if I was younger and rich, I probably would have bought it. So I think that's why it stood out to me. But like, yeah, it just
Okay.
it kind of seemed like either a baller or like somebody's rich parents.
It seemed like to him either somebody's rich parents or a baller. What would a baller be doing there at 1122 King Road? It goes back to this possible drug ties to the house. Now, doesn't it? If there's a baller's SUV parked out there by the house.
It's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah.
It seemed like a baller or somebody's rich parents. I have to agree with the first statement he said. It seems like a baller. Now, we all know what a baller is. So that SUV could have belonged to a baller. And who do we know in this investigation is a baller or has ties to them?
That makes sense. What's the speculation? Do you talk to neighbors? What are people saying about this? It's
No,
been 4
I'm
weeks
a
and there's
hermit.
no
I'm super
updates.
hermit. I don't
Okay.
really talk to anyone. I talk to a few of my really old friends. I hang with my coworkers sometimes. And most of the time I'm super busy in my crafts. Like, I don't know. And I have like, I don't know. There's like a girl I hang out with, and that's about it.
Okay. Okay. Um, does it make you nervous at all that this is unsolved? Do you feel
A
nervous
little bit, yeah.
a little bit?
I mean, it's pretty brutal and like, I don't know, thought out killing, I guess. Like, it's like kind of scary, and it also kind of scary that it just happened to some ordinary people. So I think everyone's a little bit spooked now. You know what I mean? Like, I guess in the city, this shit's like semi-normal or whatever, but like not here. Like, I don't know. So I don't know. It's kind of scary that this would happen ever. Like, especially in this town. So
Yeah.
and it's like, it's like you think about it, it's like what kind of protection can you get in these cases? Like, you can lock your windows, you can like, put strips and stuff, you can get a gun, but like this dude like went in the house and killed them before they could really react. They grab a gun or whatever and left, and not anybody knowing. Like, that's scary. You know what I mean? So like thinking about people doing that out, especially like on your block, is pretty spooky.
Yeah. That absolutely it is. It's and thank you. Hello from England. We are so sorry to hear such a horrific crime, they said. Thank you so much. Have you talked to law enforcement since that first day they came over and asked you if you'd heard anything?
Yeah.
You know, when you go to post a picture on Instagram stories, it automatically crops inward to fill the screen. It doesn't leave me enough room for text, and
Did once.
Once? Did they
Yeah.
come over to the neighborhood again to talk to everyone, or did you go talk to them?
No,
about
I
what
wouldn't.
occurred, or-
I just talked to them later.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about that, or is that
No,
off
not
the
really.
record thing? Okay.
That's off the record, chef.
That's off the record, chef. Why did he just refer to her as a chef? That's off the record, chef. That was a very weird and odd statement, calling her a chef.
Thank you. And by the way, this is a channel where I will ask a lot of questions, but I also respect my guests. For those wondering if something's off the record or you don't ever want to answer, that's all you need to say and we move on. So thank you. You posted on your Facebook. I'm going here, by the way, to my phone to look at questions that I have written for you. And I'm also getting questions over in chat. While I look, you have mentioned on your own social media pages and even posted some of the proof that you've been getting harassed yourself and feeling the wrath of true crime sleuth and speculation. Can you tell us a little bit about that or what you've been going through?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of, it's almost hilarious to me that people think I did it, and they're like telling me like, "Yo, you did it," and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the equivalent to like flat Earth theory to me when I like read some of these like Reddit conspiracies and shit. I don't know. I've been mostly ignoring it, but sometimes I read it and it gets to me, but I don't know. It's the other time it's just like it's almost entertaining to me, but it's a little bit scary too. I'm like, what are these people trying to get me? But it's whatever.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat is saying, are there cameras in the area? Do you think anyone might have been able to catch anything that happened?
I
What are your
doubt
thoughts?
very many. No, there's not a lot of thefts or break-ins or murders or really anything that happens here. A lot of people leave their doors unlocked, windows unlocked. It's generally pretty safe. Our apartment complex didn't even really have lights in like the hallway or cameras until like right after. Then they put up like some motion sensors and stuff. But like, there's like, for the most part, this neighborhood's like pretty dark, and I don't know, I kind of liked it. You know what I mean? It's like at night, like there's no lights, you kind of go to sleep really easily. But yeah, I don't think very many people have cameras because they don't really feel unsafe in this neighborhood or whatever. Most people know people too, so it's like whatever. Yeah, it's not a really sketchy neighborhood, you know, like just a bunch of college kids.
He said there's not very many cameras in the area. Well, we know of two: the 1112 King Road light bulb cam and Linda Lane. So we know of two cameras in the area. Could there be more? Quite possibly. Are they going to tell us? No.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't. I know. Apparently, some of them had like doorstep neighbors. I know, like, you know, just in the 21st century, a lot of people have like security cameras. So there's like probably some stuff around. But it's like me, like I bought a cam for my car, just, you know, in case whatever. But it's like it's been like, you know, like a year, and I still haven't put it in my car. So like,
Oh wow.
you know, like
Yeah.
that's how like safe I, you know, it's like I just like never really felt the need to like actually put it up. But now I'm like, I should definitely put that shit up. I wish I had it up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Would people sleep with their doors open in this town? Is that kind of the protocol?
I don't know about that far, but I'm not gonna say it's never happened. I accidentally walked into somebody's house because the door was open, and I was trying to go to a friend's house when I was like 17. And I like opened it up, and it was just like some dude sitting on the couch. I was like, "Oops." Uh, Shut the
Yeah.
door back to halfway. I was like, "Oops." Went to the next house. It's like, "Oh, cool. This is the right one."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Afflicted Angel, a lot of people are just asking for confirmation, which I actually really value. As a journalist, I was a television reporter for 10 years. It's really good to hear and see things and then to ask for more confirmation always. So they're asking, is this actually you commenting
yes,
on Reddit doing the AMA? They want to know
yes.
that. Yes, this is him. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. Thank you, Sleuth Mom, for reminding people that this is very true. I'm trying to read everything in chat, and some moderators are helping a bit, but I am missing some things. You can send and post something in a super chat or leave something in comment, but I don't know if we'll have the same guest again. So I'll do my best though to get to your questions. And thank you again for being here. A lot of thank yous are coming through for you being here and coming forward. So what have you heard anything about the alcohol offense at 3 a.m.? Do you know about that? It was behind the Sigma Chi house, and we have body cam footage from that. Do you know anything about that or heard of
I
that?
haven't. It's the first I've heard of it. I don't
Okay.
really pay attention to the media or news really at all. You know, I'm a stick juggler. I kind of live in my own world most of the time. Um,
Who hasn't heard about that Banfield alcoholic stop?
I think the alcohol stop on Banfield is like one of the most covered pieces in this case. But yet we have Mr. Harsh here stating that he's never heard of it. He don't watch media. He just focuses on his stick juggling. He would have had to heard about the Banfield alcohol stop because he lives not very far from Banfield. So what's this guy's deal?
I think just about everyone has heard about the cops pulling over the students at Banfield for the alcohol complaint. I just stick to myself and I do stick juggling.
but yeah, no, I don't. You know, I'm super hermit. I kind of like I live like one of the most introverted lives you can imagine. But no, I'm curious though. Tell me about it.
Well, it was, and I already have one correction. Thank you to everyone in chat helping me with these little details. It was on the Banfield. It was about 3 a.m. There's body cam footage now that has come out from it. It was the morning of the murders. So people are, zeroing in on different things they're seeing in the body cam footage that was released, taken on the Banfield at 3 a.m. And I know that you sometimes, by the way.
I don't know. I'm probably around like 2:30 to 4 a.m.
Okay.
I don't really look. I don't really look at the time.
Whoa. What time did you go to bed that night? Oh, 2:30 to 4 a.m. I really don't look at the time. So how would you know if it was 2:30 or 4 a.m. if you don't look at the time? This guy.
That is a very odd statement there. When she asked what time he went to bed, he said, "Oh, between 2:30 and 4 a.m." But I don't look at the time, so how would he know exactly what time he went to bed and give those hours of 2:30 and 4 a.m. if he doesn't look at the time? And just that question on the screen, can he confirm if the Black Explorer was there daily? It was parked behind the red Jeep inside the crime scene tape. This guy's like, his statements in this entire interview kind of, with me, throws up red flags. It really does. It throws up red flags. If you say you went to bed between 2:30 and 4, but then again say you don't pay attention to the time, exactly how do you know what time you went to bed?
Guy is looking more and more suspect to me, even though they did clear him rather quickly. Just his statements don't make no sense and aren't not grounded in reality.
After I get home, so it's all just like an estimate. But that's probably the range based off of the activities I was doing.
Yeah. One more confirmation.
What activities was he doing? It's a range based off the activities I was doing.
That is a very odd statement. Based off the activities I was doing. Exactly what activities was Enon Harsh doing that night that he didn't look at the time? I mean, it makes you wonder.
What the hell was he doing between 2:30 and 4 a.m.? Oh, I don't know. Maybe killing 4 college students? You never know.
To do with, but not about Kaylee's or some. Can you confirm if there was a Black?
SBs, and I just kind of assumed they're like FBI or police or something. But this was like this. I'm pretty sure this other car was different. And it had out of state plates. That's one of the things that was about it. I think this one didn't have out of state. The Ford Explorer or whatever. I don't think that had out of state plates. Could be wrong, but this one definitely had. It was like I almost want to say it was Utah, honestly, but
What is it? He has changed the supposed tape that he saw. Or then it was something else. Arizona, Montana, Colorado. Arizona, Montana, Colorado. Now it's Utah. So what the fuck?
Colorado, Montana, some mountainy maybe. I think it might have been mountainy, but yeah. So those were. No, I only saw 2 cars that had out of state plates. So
Okay. Julie is asking, genuinely curious. She's not being confrontational, and I can confirm
no, you're
that
good.
because Julie is a very curious person. She's
Vaulted
curious.
ceilings.
Why would
Vaulted
an introvert
ceilings.
move to a party town? Go ahead. Sorry.
This is the only place I could afford with vaulted ceilings.
Okay, that's not the question that was on the screen. The question on the screen to him was genuinely curious, not being confrontational. Why would an introvert move into a party town / Greek row? And his exact comment was vaulted ceilings. Why not just answer the question, Mr. Harsh, that was on the screen? Why come off with vaulted ceilings? Is he trying to evade the question, maybe? Yes, guys, I'm very critical of Enon Harsh.
So I could juggle at home. I need like at least like 10, 11, 12, 13-foot clearance. So it's hard to find. The apartments like that are hard to find anywhere. So and like the ones with vaulted ceilings are usually like luxury places. So you have to pay like a premium for them. So this was cool. I was living in Pullman, so I was like paying a lot, and I had because of my felonies, I couldn't really move anywhere for 7 years. So after 7 years, I instantly moved into the first place available with vaulted ceilings. And this is where I ended up.
Gotcha. I will admit, I've been admiring the ceilings in the background. They're beautiful. Those wood ceilings.
Yeah, pretty dope place.
Yeah. Miss Wales asked, did the dog bark lots, or did you?
Exactly what felony did he have? Now, see, I learned he had domestic violence back in 2012, and a domestic violence is not a felony; it's a misdemeanor. What felony did he have to where he couldn't move for 7 years? Can someone let me know down in the comments, please?
No. And I think they're referring to
I did not know the dog.
Okay.
No, I never met the dog. I didn't know there was a dog until pretty recently, actually. Someone asked me why the dog was spared, and that's the first time I heard about the dog.
Okay. And did you hear any dogs barking ever? Were dogs typically barking in the neighborhood or nothing?
No, not really. Not usually. It's usually decently quiet at night, I feel like. Sometimes I don't know. I usually don't hear a lot of animals, honestly. I feel like if, my cat will maybe make a dog bark every once in a while, but that's about it.
Yeah. Again, our deal here is this is like, consider this like Reddit AMA. You can answer any questions here you want, and you don't have to answer any questions you want. But Jamie is asking, he says, where did it go? Someone is asking, this was not it, but somebody was asking if you wanted to go further. They mentioned you had a felony, and you talked a little bit about this on Reddit AMA. Do you want to go into that now, or?
I've got 3. Well, I don't.
When I grew up, I got a gun.
He's got 3. 3 what? 3 Reddits?
I don't have 3 anymore. They're expired, so they're off my record now.
He has 3 felonies, but what are the felonies for? I heard he has a drug felony. Is that one of the felonies? Would somebody please let me know down in the comments? Thank you.
as of like 3 years ago. So
Oh,
it's been
okay.
like 10 years. But yeah, I had 3. Had a possession of marijuana, had a possession of MDMA with intent to deliver, and I had a delivery of MDMA.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, and let's see. We lost you for a bit. Are you back? You're
Yeah.
back. Can we hear you? Okay, we can hear you. All right. Thank you, Stephanie B, for reminding everyone that's here to please, if you like these types of interviews, hit like and subscribe. It helps us know what we should continue doing as a channel. And Liz is asking, this is a great question, and I want to take this question a little bit further. She is asking, have there been any normal parties at the Sigma Chi house since the incident, or any parties, or has it been really quiet?
No, I haven't. I haven't really noticed anything since then. But I honestly haven't been really I haven't been home as much lately on the weekends, but yeah, it's been pretty quiet, honestly. No, because there's definitely been no parties at that house recently, and I think there was like maybe one, but I can't really remember anything outside of that. It's been pretty tame recently.
Okay. Yeah, has it been quieter around town since this event?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like you have to think about too, like the cops are everywhere, right? Like nobody wants to party. Like the cops are like there's like probably like 20 cops parked in like the parking lot next to our neighborhood. Like, and there's like probably like another 5 like in the house like all day. There's always one that's there all night. So it's like I don't think anyone's trying to party with, you know what I mean? Like for whatever reason. So it's kind of funny. I thought they were like, just trying to like speed trap and pull people over for like the first few weeks, but then I realized that they're just nonstop working on this case. So they're always here. But I'm sure people are trying to throw parties with that happening. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. Liz, thank you. And I want to correct my words. I called what has happened 4 weeks ago an event. What I mean is an absolutely horrendous crime and tragedy. Forgive my sometimes not the best words I use. I don't mean to. Lives can be hard while I'm multitasking with chat. There was a great question from Julie Holden. I don't see it now, but essentially, has the restaurant you work in, without telling us what that restaurant is, has it been quieter?
No, it's. I mean, people can't stop telling me about the conspiracy theories, and it's actually been providing a little bit of humor in these times, because they're pretty hilarious individuals. So like I don't know, they just keep like making fun of these new conspiracies, and so it's been an interesting time for sure. The first week it was really quiet. I didn't say like probably like really anything for the first few days. Like I was at work after it happened, but after a few weeks, it's starting to get better. I don't know. I have the other day I was thinking about it and I was pretty quiet, but we've been trying to like, I don't know. It's best to just try not to think about it, right now. But it's hard also because like we're surrounded by it everywhere. But
right. Yeah. Speaking of speculations, you live in the neighborhood, which means there was somebody that did this.
Oops, my bad. That was an accident.
What do we know about Enon Harsh? Well, he's pretty much been relegated to the shadows now since he initially came out, and we really don't hear much about him anymore, which is kind of odd. But like always, guys, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell notification for any new uploads. And you guys have a good Monday evening. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast, and I'm out. Peace.
back.